World Liberty Financial Price Prediction for 2025. Why WLVI holders are sitting on a gold mine. Most people only look at the hype when it comes to altcoins, but with WLVI it's about something much bigger: politics, DeFi, and billion-dollar investments. In this video, I'll show you why WLVI could reach $8 and what that would mean for your portfolio. And at the end, I'll reveal 4 different price scenarios that no one has on their radar. Welcome to 10x Crypto, your channel for honest, data-driven altcoin analysis. My name is Marius, and I actually come from a quality management background. That's where I learned. Decisions should never be based solely on gut feeling, but always on clear data. That's exactly how my passion and my 10x formula were born. With my exclusive formula, I analyze altcoins based on 20 key metrics. I rate each one from 0 to 10. In the end, you get a clear result in percent, 4 different price scenarios, and the vision 2030. What could still happen with prices by 2030? At the end, you'll also get a chart analysis, and I'll show you what I would do right now: buy, sell, or wait. My goal is simple: to give you clarity in a market full of hype. So if you're looking for data-driven altcoin analyses and want to know which altcoins truly have massive potential, then subscribe to my channel now. Here, you make decisions based on facts, not hype. But a quick disclaimer, my channel is not financial advice, it's purely for informational purposes. Did you know that a brand new coin with Trump backing, billions in reserves, and its own stablecoin has just launched with over 2 billion in daily trading volume? I'm talking about WLVI. And today, we're going to look at why this coin could potentially reach the $8 mark in 2025. So make sure to stay tuned until the end, because there's also a scenario that almost no one has on their radar. But first, what exactly is WLVI? It's a DeFi project that connects TradeFi and blockchain. At its core is the stablecoin USD1, fully backed by dollar reserves, managed by BitGo and audited by independent parties. WLVI itself is the governance token, so it's not for trading but for voting on upgrades, burns, or other benefits. What's special is that WLVI runs multi-chain on Ethereum, Binance, Solana, and Tron. This of course makes transactions extremely cheap. Now, the question is, what market problem is it trying to solve? The project aims to bridge the gap between traditional finance and DeFi. Bank transfers are slow, expensive, and centralized. With USD1, the stablecoin, cross-border payments can be made in seconds and at a fraction of the cost. This means that not only retail, but also institutions can move billions over the blockchain, and that's where the potential lies. So, before we dive into the analysis, grab yourself a coffee, leave a like for me, and if you want to support me, become a 10x supporter on YouTube. That way I can continue to stay independent for you. Thank you for your support. Let's move on to the market cap. Currently, WLVI has a market cap of $4.5 billion US. This makes it a mid-cap altcoin, but one that is moving into the high caps much faster than many might expect. But at this level, WLVI is still big enough to be taken seriously, yet small enough to have plenty of room to grow. Of course, its growth also depends heavily on the adoption of the stablecoin. But in this area, it scores an 8 out of 10. Next, the circulating supply. Currently, 25% of all tokens are in circulation. That means 3/4 are still locked. Of course, this carries risks because future unlocks could have a massive impact on the price. Smaller burns, like 47 million tokens for example, do help to reduce this risk a bit. Still, in this area it only scores a 4. Next, how strong is the roadmap? Stablecoin launch, governance activation, new listings, and possibly, I would say, even a nest egg connection via Sigma's Alt5. So far, milestones have always been met on time. The plan seems ambitious but realistic. Here, a solid 7. Donald Trump and his family are figureheads. In addition, Justin's son with a 700 million investment and partners like the Alt5 Sigma. So there is both political and business power present. The crypto know-how mainly comes from the partners, but are they extremely well positioned? 8. Next, the narrative. WLVI sells the story of being an on-chain treasury alternative. That fits perfectly with the current times. Keyword, deregulation and the stablecoin boom. With Trump as a symbolic figure, the project also gets maximum attention. A strong 9. What problem are they trying to solve? The problem is expensive and slow transfers through the old banking system. WLVI solves this with the USD1, a certified, fully backed stablecoin that, let's say, makes cross-border payments possible in seconds. In addition, governance is handled via the WLVI token. A strong 8. Sustainability. WLVI runs on Ethereum, Solana, Tron, and BNB. All proof of stake, so energy efficient. No mining, no large ecological footprint. In this area, a strong 7. Next, investors. The project raised a hefty 500 million in the pre-sale. Investors include Justin Sun, WF Labs, and Alt5 Sigma. Additionally, there's a 1.5 billion race underway, so the coffers are well filled, a strong 9. Next, who are the competitors? Well, on one hand, of course, USDT, AAV, and Uniswap. But WLVI stands out due to its connection to Trump and the multi-coin strategy. That can be an advantage, but also a political risk. In this area, a strong 7. And if you're interested in other altcoins, I've already analyzed many. Check out the playlist in the 10x universe, which I've linked in the video description. I'll also link you to another altcoin here that's extremely exciting and a direct competitor to WLVI. Have fun? Marketing. Trump tweets, of course, X posts, huge pre-sale hypes, plus token burns, buybacks, listings on major exchanges. All of this was massively hyped on X. So the marketing is on point and creates strong FOMO, a solid 9. How simple is the idea? The idea is simple. A stablecoin for transactions, a governance token for decisions. Every investor can quickly understand that. 8. Then what about the long-term vision for WLFI? They want to go public in the long run, including a listing on Nasdaq, plus deflationary mechanisms and expansion of USD1 in the institutional market. So the vision is ambitious but also risky. Still, a strong 8 in this area for the solid vision. Then, is the coin deflationary up to a maximum supply? What's the situation there? A maximum supply of 100 billion, buybacks and burns are firmly planned. This will create scarcity in the long term. A strong 8 in this area. Then what about the FTV, or fully improved market capitalization? FTV is at 18.4 billion, market cap is only at 4.5 billion. The ratio is 4 times, so that's still in the healthy range, so an 8 here. Then what about the volume? The volume is at 2.29 billion, which is over 50% of the market cap. That's extremely high liquidity, so a 10 here as well. Next, how does the token distribution look? 20% unlocked at launch, the rest is staggered over the long term. Of course, that's a risk because the team and partners hold extremely large portions, so only a 6 here. Then what about the top holders? That's an interesting point as well. Justin Sun holds 700 million WLFI. Some wallets have 9-figure amounts. That can lead to market manipulation, which is extremely dangerous. You definitely need to be careful about that. Only a 4 in this category. Next, governance voting. Use for benefits, for example, possible future staking. Here, a solid 6. The community is active on Telegram. The Trump factor brings reach and the overall mood is mostly positive. A strong 8. By the way, are you a WLOV holder yourself or a fan of the coin? Write it in the comments, #WLVI, so the coin gets visibility, so videos like this get seen, so more and more people can learn about the altcoin and get well informed. Extremely important. So what kind of events are there? Planned unlocks, as mentioned, but also further burns. And the question is, will the Nasdaq listing really happen? That definitely makes the coming months exciting. Here, a strong 8. Honestly, WLVI actually surprised me. A coin that is politically polarizing, yet scores with solid numbers and a use case. In Zenix ranking, it achieves 74.4%, putting it in the middle range. Not extremely strong, but not weak either. The strengths: massive adoption, the opportunity through the stablecoin USD1, a strong roadmap, Nasdaq perspective, and high trading volume. That's impressive. The risks: high concentration among large investors and many token unlocks still to come. The political dependence on the Trump narrative, those are definitely risks. My assessment: WLVI is not just a hype coin, but a mid-cap altcoin with a real use case for investors who are betting on DeFi, stablecoins, and a political narrative. It could really be an interesting building block in a portfolio, but only if you know the risks and are willing to accept them. By the way, if you want to know which altcoins I hold in my portfolio, then check out Zenix Elite. There you'll get all the information and, of course, my complete Zenix ranking list. You can find all the details in the video description, and up here I've linked a tutorial for you. But you can also just scan the QR code here, which will take you straight to the app. Take a look at it at your own pace and then decide for yourself. Especially now with the altcoin season coming up, it definitely makes sense for you to be prepared. Okay, now it gets exciting because the big question remains: how high can WLVI really go? That's exactly what we're going to look at together now with different scenarios. As always, let's start with the bear scenario. WLVI remains under pressure. Too many token unlocks, too little adoption. In that case, we might see slight growth. The price will stay somewhere between 5 and 10 cents. Not impressive, but realistic if everything goes against the project. Let's move on to the normal scenario. In the normal scenario, the stablecoin USD1 gets off to a solid start. WLFI establishes itself as a solid mid-cap, and we're talking about prices between 20 and 30 cents. That's stable, healthy growth. Let's move on to the optimistic scenario. Here, WLFI really gains traction. Major investors continue to come on board. The stablecoin sees widespread use. Then we could see prices from 50 cents up to $1. That would be a significant increase. But now let's move on to the very optimistic scenario. WLFI makes it into the top 10. Political tailwinds from Trump, the buybacks and burns, everything is working. Then we're talking about prices from $2 to $4 per token. That's not science fiction, it's mathematically possible. But by 2030, if the entire crypto market really takes off in the real world and WLFI significantly increases its market share, then we're talking about $8 or more per token. That would be a game changer. And if you now want to buy, sell, or trade an altcoin like WLFI or other altcoins, then I recommend my favorite crypto exchange. There's currently a special offer just for ZaneX viewers. With my code and the link in the pinned comment, you can get this bonus, but only for a short time. Or simply scan the QR code here and secure your exclusive bonus. But be careful, as I said, it's only available for a short time. Now let's move on to my chart analysis and the question, how would I act right now? Would I get in now? Would I wait? What would I actually do? Here's the full chart analysis. Yes, welcome to my chart analysis. As you can see at first glance, we don't have much data yet because WLFI has just come onto the market. But as you always see, especially when new altcoins come onto the market, the price initially shoots up massively because of course there are many people who have FOMO, that is the fear of missing out, and want to get in hoping for profits. The problem, of course, is that there are already people, investors, who got in early, meaning before the market launched during the pre-sale. Of course, they are now cashing in their profits all at once, and then the price drops massively. That's actually almost a typical example. Here we saw that people got in again, and now there was another pullback. For me, the problem right now is simply making a decision, because I still have too little data. As you can see here, the coin hasn't been on the market for long. There is very little data available. In other words, for me personally, it would simply be too much of a risk at the moment. I would probably wait until it drops significantly further to find a good entry point. But right now I would rather be in a waiting position. Now, of course, you also have to understand the overall situation in the crypto market a bit. If the Federal Reserve, that is the Central Bank of America, significantly lowers interest rates again soon, then the situation will look different and it could lead to another massive pump in the market. But how I would act in the coming weeks, especially in relation to that, you can find in my 10x Elite. There I post once a week, always on Sundays, about the overall market situation and how I would act. And as soon as there are major changes in the market, I inform you in the 10x Elite about what I would do next. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check it out. So WLFI is really a coin full of opportunities, but also with risks. If you want to see another exciting altcoin now, why this AI altcoin has massive potential in this bull run, and why even big players are betting on it, all of that is right here. Enjoy the next video. Subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss any altcoin analyses, and with that, see you in a bit.